Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let me ask you something that might sting a little. Have you ever given your all to a woman only to feel invisible? You tried to be kind, genuine, thoughtful, but somehow she pulled away, didn't she? It's confusing because deep down you know you're not the problem. Yet it feels like no matter how good your intentions are, women seem drawn to men who understand something you don't. That's not an accident, it's psychology. And once you learn these 7 subtle psychological tricks, not manipulation but understanding, you'll never chase validation again. You'll become the man women obsess over. Before we go deeper, take 2 seconds to subscribe and like this video. It helps the channel grow and tells me you want more real, unfiltered psychology like this. Now listen carefully. Obsession isn't built on looks or money. It's created in the mind of a woman. Attraction is emotional, not logical. When a man triggers specific emotions in her, she begins to see him as rare, as different, as someone she can't replace. These emotions create an invisible bond, one she feels even when you're not around. It's what makes her think about you at random moments, replay your words, and crave your attention without you begging for it. That's the kind of deep connection we're building here. The first psychological key is uncertainty with warmth. Most men either give too much attention too soon or withhold it completely. The secret lies in the rhythm between the two. When you show her genuine interest, but don't overexpose your emotions, she feels emotionally unsteady. This uncertainty makes her brain crave resolution, and you become that resolution. When you smile, but don't reveal everything you're thinking, when you compliment, but then shift the topic, she starts wondering, what is he thinking about me? That question alone builds obsession, because women chase the feeling that you give them, not your attention itself. And here's a truth few will tell you. Women don't fall for predictable men. They fall for emotional patterns that keep them guessing. When you master the balance of being emotionally grounded yet slightly mysterious, her curiosity turns into desire. You become her mental puzzle, and people don't forget puzzles they can't solve. Here's something most men don't realize. Women are wired to respond to emotional contrast, not constant predictability. Think about it. When a man is always available, always agreeable, she eventually stops noticing him. But when you mix moments of warmth with moments of independence, she starts feeling a magnetic pull she can't explain. It's not manipulation, it's understanding the way her mind craves emotional stimulation. Your challenge is to become the man who makes her feel something intense, not the man who simply exists around her. The second trick is mirroring her emotional energy, but with control. Women instinctively mirror the emotional energy of men they're drawn to, but the key is doing it subtly. If she's playful, match her playfulness, but don't go overboard. If she's serious, mirror a calm confidence. This sends a message to her subconscious. He gets me. He understands me without needing words. That feeling of being understood is addictive. It makes her want to spend more time with you, to open up more, to seek your presence again and again. Next, you must understand the power of selective vulnerability. A man who never shows any cracks feels untouchable, but a man who exposes just enough of his inner world sparks connection. Reveal a thought or a struggle, not too deep, not too trivial, so she sees your humanity. She will remember that moment, replay it, and emotionally anchor herself to it. This is how obsession starts. It's the emotional breadcrumbs that keep her thinking about you, even when you're miles away. Another point most men overlook is the importance of your presence and scarcity combined. Scarcity isn't about playing games. It's about living your life fully so that she notices you as someone independent and valuable. When you are deeply engaged in your own purpose, she senses it. Women are subconsciously drawn to men who aren't dependent on their validation. But when she sees glimpses of your attention, warmth, and interest, it becomes precious to her. She begins to crave the balance between your availability and your independence. That craving, it's the seed of obsession. Finally, understand that women are emotional collectors. Every interaction, glance, or conversation is stored somewhere in her mind. When you trigger emotional highs, laughter, curiosity, slight tension, she starts associating those moments with you. Over time, she can't help but replay those interactions, wondering when the next emotional spark will come. This is the invisible pull that builds intensity, attraction, and obsession without her ever realizing it. Here's a truth most men overlook. Women don't just respond to actions, they respond to how you make them feel inside. Your words, your presence, even your silence all create emotional impressions that stick far longer than any compliment or gift. The third trick is about creating emotional peaks and valleys. Think of it like a movie. If the story is flat, no one cares. But when a man can make her laugh uncontrollably one moment, then intrigue her the next, her brain begins to associate you with powerful feelings she can't get elsewhere. That emotional roller coaster, subtle, controlled, deliberate, is what makes a woman start thinking about you without even realizing why. Most men make the mistake of being emotionally predictable. They assume kindness alone is enough, but obsession thrives on tension paired with connection. A simple pause before answering a text, a teasing remark, or an unexpected compliment. All these tiny emotional contrasts create a mental imprint. She starts noticing your pattern without knowing it, and her subconscious begins running the calculations. I want more of this feeling. That's where desire transforms into obsession. The next psychological lever is anchoring positive emotions to your presence. Whenever you're around, make her feel elevated, excited, valued, or deeply understood. Women remember the moments when they felt alive, not just comfortable. Every time she associates those emotions with you, it becomes a subconscious habit. She begins seeking your presence because her brain remembers, he makes me feel something no one else does. You are now no longer just a person. You are an emotional stimulus. Then comes controlled unpredictability. Women are wired to notice patterns, and yet they crave novelty within those patterns. If you show consistency in your values and character, but vary your energy, mood, or behavior slightly, it keeps her attention locked. She doesn't realize she's addicted to the mental puzzle you've created, just that being around you feels thrilling and unpredictable. That tiny psychological tension keeps her hooked. Finally, let's talk about memory triggers. Humans emotionally cling to sensory details, a certain laugh, a hand gesture, even a smell. When you connect emotionally and create memorable moments, she will replay them in her mind at random times. Those small emotional echoes build obsession silently and powerfully. She doesn't just want you physically, she begins craving the mental and emotional presence only you provide. Here's the truth most men never hear. Women obsess over men they can't imagine replacing. Desire alone is fleeting, but irreplaceability creates lasting attachment. The fourth trick is about becoming her emotional cornerstone without seeming desperate. When you consistently trigger unique, positive emotions while remaining grounded and independent, she begins to unconsciously anchor herself to you. She starts thinking, no one else could make me feel this way. That's the magic switch that turns interest into obsession. Many men fail because they overexpose themselves too early. They reveal everything about themselves, every thought, every feeling, without giving her space to wonder. But when you are selective, letting her uncover layers slowly, you create a psychological effect known as the Zeigarnik effect. Unfinished experiences linger in the mind. When you leave just enough unsaid, just enough mystery, she can't stop thinking about you. That lingering curiosity is the invisible leash that pulls her attention back, over and over again. Next is strategic praise and admiration. Compliments are powerful, but not when given indiscriminately. Observe closely what makes her feel seen, understood, and validated, but only reinforce it occasionally. Too much, and it loses impact. The key is timing. When she receives acknowledgement from you at unexpected moments, it hits her subconscious as highly valuable. She begins associating your attention with reward, and her brain starts craving it naturally. Another element most men ignore is the art of emotional contrast in communication. Don't just talk about mundane things. Share a fleeting, intense insight or a provocative idea that challenges her mind. When you stimulate her intellectually while also making her feel safe emotionally, you occupy two critical areas in her psyche. She can't categorize you easily, and the harder it is to categorize someone, the more mental real estate they occupy. She starts replaying your conversations, analyzing every word, craving the next interaction. Finally, remember this. Obsession isn't about pressure, control, or games. It's about the emotional ecosystem you create. Your presence, your tone, your timing, the subtle unpredictability. All of it works together to make her feel something she can't resist. She begins seeing you as a necessary element in her emotional world. And here's the kicker. Once she reaches that point, she isn't consciously deciding to be obsessed. It just happens. Her mind has built a pattern around you that she can't ignore, and that, my friend, is the ultimate psychological leverage. Here's the reality that most men completely miss. Women don't just respond to what you do, they respond to what you make them feel in your absence. The fifth trick is about creating mental echoes, those subconscious moments when she thinks of you without any prompting. Every interaction, every conversation, every glance can leave a subtle imprint if done correctly. This isn't about manipulation, it's about understanding how her mind attaches to emotional stimuli. When done strategically, she'll replay your words, your energy, and even your silences in her mind over and over. Start with emotional imprinting. Anytime she laughs, feels excitement, or experiences curiosity with you, that moment becomes a neurological marker in her brain. Then, when you withdraw slightly, give space, focus on your life, don't over-text, her brain starts craving the next high of that emotion. She begins to associate those highs uniquely with you. That craving, that's obsession forming silently, like a seed taking root deep in her subconscious. Next, leverage memory anchors. Humans emotionally cling to sensory triggers, a scent, a phrase, even a simple touch. During moments of connection, subtly create these anchors. It could be as simple as a signature phrase you say when leaving, or a small, repeated action that signals your presence. Later, she will subconsciously recall that action or phrase and instantly feel the emotional pull she experienced with you. Her mind begins craving it without her realizing why. Then comes strategic emotional unpredictability. If you were entirely predictable, she'd stop thinking about you. But when you mix warmth with slight challenge, tease her playfully, leave an unexpected compliment, or share an intriguing thought, her brain can't stop running simulations. What will he do next? Becomes a subconscious question she carries with her. The tension between certainty and unpredictability keeps her attention trapped on you, even when you're not around. Finally, understand the power of emotional scarcity. Absence amplifies desire, but only if your presence is emotionally rich. When you give her moments of intensity and then remove yourself with calm independence, she naturally develops emotional dependency. She begins checking for cues, replaying interactions, and wondering when the next hit of your energy will occur. That mental replay, repeated over days, weeks, and months, strengthens her subconscious obsession. Section 6 will reveal the final, most potent psychological trick that turns fascination into deep, almost irresistible attachment, where she can't stop thinking about you and starts seeking you constantly. Now we arrive at the final, most powerful trick, one that separates men who are remembered from men who are obsessed over. This is the secret of emotional elevation and association. Women don't just want a man who exists in her life. They want a man who makes her feel alive in his presence, and missing him leaves a void she can't ignore. Every conversation, every interaction, every shared moment should leave her with a lingering emotional high that she subconsciously craves. To do this, you must master peak emotional moments. These aren't grand gestures or cliches. They're micro-experiences that stir intense emotions. Laughter, intrigue, vulnerability, challenge. When she experiences these peaks with you repeatedly, her brain starts associating you with emotional reward. And here's the psychological kicker. Humans are wired to seek out experiences that trigger these highs again and again. She doesn't consciously decide to chase it. It happens automatically. You become her emotional habit. Next, understand association through contrast. Pair yourself with feelings she wants but can't create alone. Excitement, inspiration, clarity, or even a subtle tension that keeps her mentally engaged. Then contrast it with calm stability, showing that you are reliable yet not boring. This duality imprints in her subconscious. She starts craving both, the rush of emotional peaks and the safety of your grounded presence. That combination is addictive. Then comes subtle reinforcement over time. Obsession isn't built in a day. Every conversation, every glance, every carefully timed reaction adds layers to her mental map of you. She begins replaying your moments together, anticipating your next move, and imagining scenarios with you that haven't even happened. The mind builds patterns faster than reality can keep up, and you become the central character in her thoughts and fantasies. Finally, the ultimate truth. Obsession is rooted in your ability to evoke strong, unique emotions while remaining scarce and confident. You're not chasing her. You're living your life fully. You're intriguing, unpredictable, and emotionally resonant. And in that space, she begins to see you not as an option, but as someone irreplaceable. Every thought she has about you reinforces desire. Every memory keeps her tethered to you. She isn't just attracted, she's compelled, and that compulsion grows stronger each day. This is the power of understanding female psychology. When done correctly, it creates not just attraction, but a magnetic, subconscious pull. She can't explain it, but she can't resist it. You become unforgettable, you become essential, and most importantly, you become the man women think about constantly, even when you're not around.